So I'm going through old articles from the Tampa Bay Times. And I came across this article in 2007. What is so awesome about this article is that it showed how if a Black group, poor group, a group that represented the poor, became too powerful that they could launch investigations. So let me give you some background. So the West Tampa CDC started in 2009 and it became operational in 2001. Between 2001 to 2007, the CDC, West Tampa CDC, had became an organization that no one knew about to an organization that everybody knew about it. What was unique about the West Tampa CDC is that it decided that it wanted to create its own strategic plan. And based on that strategic plan, to bring in the different partners in order to carry out the vision of the community. So within that period of time, we was able to do youth programs, facade program, work on workforce development and entrepreneurship, advocated for the community by making sure that the community was always at the table when we was doing deals in West Tampa. And that's what helped us. So anyway, let's fast forward to 2007. So there was an investigation launched on West Tampa CDC. And I want to share this information with you because we became too powerful. Oddly enough, when we was exonerated, the only paper that published it was the Florida Sentinel. So let's read what happened. And I'm going to read it verbally. So as it reads, federal authorities have launched an investigation into a West Tampa nonprofit group whose mission is to improve the neighborhood social and economic condition. The Housing and Urban Development Department of the Inspector General this summer pulled files from the Tampa Housing Department that document related to spending on two federal grants related to the West Tampa Corporation. So in essence, they tried to look at every grant that we had ever gotten. You're gonna love this, it continues. This is what power looked like. Even through this investigation, and we did, was with this in terms of something, we didn't do anything. All during that time, the only group that stood with us was the community. And this is a lesson learned. When you go on projects in the community, make sure you build relationships with the residents, civic groups, and those other shareholders, so they know that the plan that you're creating is a plan that they are part of and endorse. It was the community that stood us up for us all through this investigation. But let's read some more. And when I say that we became a power to deal with in that period of time, we came from nowhere to where everybody was talking about the West Tampa CDC. We couldn't have did it with our partners from Tampa Housing Authority, the CDC of Tampa, and that name goes on and on. So in questions is a $100,000 federal grant to improve storefront to improve a storefront and a $463,000 federal grant. Let's go to the $100,000. Before we came aboard, and this particular grant right here is coming from the city. It was to help small businesses with facade money in order to increase the outside appearance and, in theory, hopefully increase the people coming in to buy in their store. Prior to us getting this money, African American businesses had not gotten any money from this facade program. When we came on board, we made sure that an African American business and an Asian American business received that grant. So let's continue on. They tried to come at us at all kinds of ways to discredit us. So this $463,000 federal grant that we got from our Department of Housing went to build 3 affordable houses. What we did that was unique was that our developer and designer came up with a way on how you can take small lots and build beautiful houses on them and still keep it for affordable. So we actually, set the pace as to what could be done with small lots in West Tampa. And that was awesome because we was able to do that and keep it affordable. So my hats off to the groups, the Sebastian group that made that possible. So the other thing that's unique about this is that the grants that we're talking about that we received was sanctioned by the mayor. So anyway, let's continue on. But that goes to show when they want to get you, they will get you. And when you become so powerful that you create the table and control the resources in your community, those who don't think that's a good thing will come after you. When you position yourself in order to do public and private deals and cut out the middleman, that you can actually go in and negotiate deals with developers, with businesses on behalf of the community, knocking out the middleman and bringing back the resources to your neighborhood, you became a force to contend with. What was unique about us when we came on the scene, we were able to use a new school, next generation approach in terms of community development. We use what's known as the Community Comprehensive Holistic Initiative that looks at all of the different social problems and economic problems and physical problems like affordable housing all at once and begin to design a plan forward to change the narrative. It was a new school of thought. And when we gave our first meeting to the community, keep in mind, the strategy was to create a 5-year plan. And that's what we did, the community and the West Tampa CDC. And then once that plan was ready, to reveal it to the larger community. And that's what we did. And that article that came out on us, and the article was by the Tampa Times at that time. The article came out and say that West Tampa moves the dial in West Tampa. We brought out lenders, we brought out developers, we brought out investors, we brought out institutions of higher learning, we brought out city government, county government, federal government, we brought out institutions of higher learning, education, we brought out housing developers, we brought out community residents and other neighborhood groups. We brought out everybody when we unveiled that particular plan. And of course, when that plan was revealed, that's what got us all the money. And that's what put us on the map. And that's what caused everybody who didn't like, especially Black people, controlling the narrative like that. Okay, let me go back. So anyway, this money went, this $100,000 and $400,000 went towards increasing the quality of life in West Tampa. So, HUD officials will not confirm or deny the investigation. Let me tell you something, because I was back then. I knew when I got to Tampa, coming from up north, I knew that if we pulled off what they wanted us to pull off when the community got together, that there would be repercussions, especially if you got a poor community, and all of a sudden this community has empowered itself, and every developer that comes to that neighborhood has to go through this community development corporation and had to work with the community development and community development in the community, and making sure they leave a blueprint behind, a footprint behind that in reduced gentrification. In fact, what happened was there was two major projects that came out of this. I'm so happy I found this article that brings back memories. There were two deals that came out of this community and this private and public relationship. Keep in mind at that time, the mayor has instructed all developers to come to the West Tampa CDC in order to work out a deal to reduce gentrification. So anyway, there was two deals that were struck. One deal resulted in a grant of $650,000. And that $650,000 will go to residents in West Tampa who were trying to get to buy a house in West Tampa. And they was like low or moderate income individuals. That money went towards adding on to down payment assistance. So in addition to the down payment assistance that person got from the city, on top of that, we brought money in order to make sure that person actually is able to stay in the community. The other thing that came out that deal with working with developers was that there was supposed to be a job center built for us, and it would be built, and we would actually own the building. And that respect, that's how you reduce gentrification, because now we started an employment center. Not only do we start an employment center, but now we got an asset that we can use and leverage in order to get additional dollars. So now you can imagine why they called an investigation on us. We were doing things that simply was not normal. So let's go on and continue to read. I don't know what they digging and looking for, say board member Joe Robinson. Joe Robinson has always stuck with the board of directors because Joe always knew it was honest. And Joe wouldn't be part of something if it wasn't legit and honest. Everybody know that. So anyway, he did make that statement. And then the one board member, Phil Lacey, rest his soul, he just recently passed away. He welcomed the investigation of the 8-year agency ran by 12 members of the board. So Mr. Lacey stuck by us. Basically, what he was saying, bring it on. Everybody that was part of that corporation knew we was legit. Everybody in the community knew. Because every deal we ever did, we always made sure that the residents in the community were a part of that deal. They knew what was going on. Nothing was done behind the behind doors. And I think that this is the model that you use in being transparent. You get community buy-in first. You don't lead. They direct and you produce. Now, then retired school principal, Dr. Margaret Fisher, one of my favorite people, and also one of the co-founders of the West Tampa CDC, along with Joe Robinson. They just mentioned that she was the president of the CDC. And then, of course, it came at me, consultant Michael Randolph, and it's $27,000 a year to run the day-to-day operation and help manage grants. See, a black man back then that was making that type of money as a consultant, they didn't like that. They didn't like the fact that we was able to create real type of opportunity and put real programs out there. What they don't know is that normally I would have been paid 3-4 times the amount of this. My job when I got to the CDC working with the community was to create the plan with the community to change the narrative. And we did it. We did it. We did what no other organization in West Tampa had been able to do. We actually took it to the next level. So let's continue to read on. Now, notice how they throw this. But the management of that money has been proved problematic. What are you talking about? Okay, let's continue on. Because this is a trip, man. Let me tell you, it reminds me way back in the South when you're a black group and you start to step out the line and people say, how dare you finesse deals like that? How dare you be both intellectually and intellectually as well as creative in terms of putting together a deal. So let's read on. The city awarded a group of $100,000. I think this is more. The city awarded $100,000 in 2005 to improve a storefront. Now they're going to break it down even more. The group was entitled to create $20,000 in administration bill, but the city officials said the record keeping was slabby. They paid out $14,000 and some cents. Outside audit questioned even the payment, saying there wasn't adequate document to support it. They came at us with mean type of allegation. We didn't have a chance to bring our accountant. See, we had an accountant and we had a lawyer. All right? That's how awesome we were. We had an accountant and a lawyer. And when we brought it to when we was able to meet with the feds and meet with the Tampa Police Department, guess what they say? We're sorry. And like I told them, and like Joe told them, like everybody else told me, we know why this happened. We had gotten a call over from the university area, Tampa CDC over in the university area. And the guy had told me, he said, Mike, you know what? We do the same thing y'all do. But see, we white and we can do it. And he was straight up about it. And he said he was sick to his stomach that happened. But like I told him, I said, look, man, we strong. We're gonna finesse this like baby kids and come back even stronger. And we did. 2003. And we strong even better than we was in 2007. That goes to show, man, when you're in this game, man, you have to have thick skin when you come into this game and all of a sudden you create the critical and creative thinking necessary to create the change, touchable, that people can feel. So anyway, I wanted to bring that out because I had not saw this in a while. And then it reminded me way back then, man, how we was bad. That's all I can say. You could call us like gangsters, man. That's what somebody told me, right? At a meeting. They said, Mike, you held at me like gangsters or whatever. But it wasn't that. It was all in the technique that you was using. So I had to, next time we negotiate, I had to, get a little bit more sophisticated, but the same result came into play. And I think that one of the developers was so impressed with us, the one that was going to give us $650,000 towards the down payment system. That didn't happen because of bubble bust. That's the only reason why he wasn't able to do that. But even when that investigation came out, let me show you how people respected us. Even when this article came out, the developer, again, that had the $650,000 committed to us, because he really felt that we was going to really make a change in West Tampa, and he wanted to be the type of developer that left a blueprint, but at the same time, he left something back in the community. So what was so awesome, and what everybody didn't understand, and they didn't put it in the newspaper here, when they asked him, he said that the West Tampa CDC is a stand-up organization. And he's standing behind us in his commitment to the $650,000 savings. Folks, I was long-winded, but this right here, I had to go back. This made me feel really that we understood, and now they understood.